The oldest ballpark in the National League turns 100 today. Cupcakes for the first 10,000 in attendance. Replica Chi-Feds jerseys for the first 30,000. And we're set for Chicago Cubs and Chi-Feds baseball. Today, the Feds host the Kansas City Packers / Arizona Diamondbacks. And we welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. And let's send it over to Wrigley Field public address announcer Andy Bellison.
Originally known as Weeghman Park, Wrigley Field served as home to the Chicago Federals, later named the Chicago Whales of the Federal League in 1914 and 1915. In 1916, the Chicago Cubs moved in, and the park was renamed Cubs Park in 1919 after William Wrigley Jr. became the largest stockholder of the team. Cubs Park was officially renamed Wrigley Field in 1926. Wrigley Field has not only served as the home of the Chicago Cubs, but also the Chicago Bears until 1970, and hosted many special events, including hockey, concerts, soccer games, rodeos, circuses, and ski jump tournaments. Wrigley Field was home to Babe Ruth's alleged cold shot, the homer in the Glowman, and is the last standing ballpark where the late great Jackie Robinson played. Wrigley Field's birthday today is being recognized from the city of Chicago to the White House. Earlier today, in recognition of Wrigley Field's 100th birthday, Pat Quinn, governor of the state of Illinois, and Rahm Emanuel, mayor of the city of Chicago, each proclaimed April 23, 2014 as Wrigley Field Day in the state of Illinois and city of Chicago. President Barack Obama also recognized Wrigley Field's 100th celebration and sent best wishes with an official letter from the White House to the Chicago Cubs. President Obama noted that Wrigley Field is more than just a ballpark. It fosters community amongst faithful Cubs fans, stands as a cherished institution in Chicago, and reflects the roots of America's rich baseball tradition. Baseball has undergone many changes in the last 100 years, and the sport is still thriving today. The Chicago Cubs are pleased to welcome a very special guest and longtime friend of Chicago who has guided our game through a significant renaissance period. In his 22 years as commissioner, Major League Baseball has experienced unprecedented growth under his leadership, including the addition of the wild card and divisional series, interleague play, the World Baseball Classic, 2 rounds of expansion, and instant replay. Widely believed to be the best commissioner in baseball history, please welcome back to Wrigley Field a great friend and supporter of the Cubs on the friendly confines, and our Lake Michigan neighbor to the north, Commissioner of Baseball, Bud Selig. There have been 4 remarkable owners of the friendly confines, many known for their unique character and what each has contributed to the ballpark. Joining us today are several representatives from past ownership. On December 31st, 1913, Chicago Federals owner Charles Weeghman agreed to a 99-year lease on the land we stand on today. In just 2 months, a ballpark seating 14,000 fans was constructed and originally named Weeghman Park. Representing the first owners of Weeghman Park today is Charles Weeghman's grandniece, Sue Quigg. In 1919, William Wrigley Jr. took full control of the Chicago Cubs and Cubs Park. The Wrigley family maintained ownership for more than 60 years, overseeing the planting of the ivy in the outfield, construction of the upper deck and bleachers, and the addition of the historic Wrigley Field marquee. Joining us today from the Wrigley family, please welcome Bo Wrigley and Steve Schreiner. In 1981, the Tribune Company purchased the Cubs and Wrigley Field. Under their leadership, the Cubs added lights, hosted the 1990 All-Star Game, and became the biggest sports attraction in Chicago. Attendance numbers grew, and the Cubs first hit the 2 million mark in 1984, and then achieved a new attendance height by drawing more than 3 million fans to Wrigley Field in 2004. Please welcome Executive Vice President, General Counsel for the Chicago Tribune Company, and current board member of the Cubs, Edward Lazarus. In October of 2009, the 133-year-old franchise was sold to a family of Cubs fans. In nearly 5 years of ownership, the Ricketts family has invested significantly in talent on and off the field and is committed to ensuring Wrigley Field is preserved for another 100 years. Joining us today from the Ricketts family are owner and board member Laura Ricketts. Owner and board member Todd Ricketts. And owner and chairman of the board, Tom Ricketts. The Chicago Bears called Wrigley Field home for 50 seasons and once held the record for most NFL games played in a single stadium. The Bears won 224 games and 8 NFL championships while calling Wrigley home. On behalf of Papa Bear George Halas and the McCaskey family, please welcome Chicago Bears President Ted Phillips. During the Bears' domination of the NFL at Wrigley Field, several players left their mark on the franchise and NFL record books. A few Bears Hall of Famers join us today. He earned 6 of his 8 Pro Bowl selections while playing linebacker for the Bears here at Wrigley Field. Regarded as one of the best and fiercest tacklers to ever play the game, he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1979. Please welcome linebacker number 51, Dick Butkus. While playing at Wrigley Field, he left defenders in the dust on his way to 4 Pro Bowl selections, 2 NFL rushing titles, and the 1965 NFL Rookie of the Year award. On December 12, 1965, he had one of the most memorable performances in Wrigley Field history by scoring a record 6 touchdowns against the San Francisco 49ers. Please welcome back running back number 40, Gale Sayers. The Chicago Cubs have had their share of Hall of Famers and all-time greats over the years as well. Let's now welcome back some of your favorite Chicago Cubs. He led the National League in shutouts in 1971 with 5 and was a 3-time All-Star. He tossed a no-hitter at Wrigley Field on September 2nd, 1972. Please welcome pitcher number 32, Milt Pappas. A member of the Cubs' middle infield for 9 seasons, he led the Cubs in runs with 98 and hits with 189 in 1968. A 4-time All-Star and 1968 Gold Glove Award winner, please welcome second baseman number 18, Glenn Beckert. The Cubs backstop for 10 seasons. He caught 42% of base stealers during his career. He hit 82 home runs and drove in 381 over 14 seasons. Please welcome catcher number 9, Randy Hundley. This man roamed center field for the Cubs from 1984 through 87. In 84, he led the team in stolen bases and won the Gold Glove Award. Ladies and gentlemen, leadoff man for the Daily Double, center fielder number 20, Bob Dernier. A member of the Cubs from 1984 to 1987, he was a career .281 hitter. Please salute 1984 NL East champion left fielder number 36, the Sarge, Gary Matthews. A 7-time All-Star and one of the most dominant relievers of his generation, this Cubs pitcher led the National League in saves 3 times in his career. He owns a career .303 ERA with 1,251 strikeouts and still holds the Cubs record for saves with 180. Ladies and gentlemen, pitcher number 46, Lee Smith. A member of the Cubs pitching staff for 9 seasons, he led the team in saves from 2005 through 2007 before transitioning back to the starting rotation in 2008. He owns a .375 ERA at Wrigley Field and is the only pitcher in Cubs history to start a game and record 30 saves in the same season. Please welcome pitcher number 46, Ryan Dempster. We fondly remember our favorite Cubs third baseman. He was a 9-time All-Star and 5-time Gold Glove Award winner and was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 2012. In remembrance of third baseman number 10, Ron Seno, please welcome his grandkids, Sam and Spencer. This slugger patrolled right field at the Friendly Confines from 1987 to 1992. He hit 49 home runs and drove in 137 in 87, winning the National League MVP. An 8-time Gold Glove Award winner and 8-time All-Star, he was enshrined in the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 2010. Ladies and gentlemen, right fielder number 8, the Hawk, Andre Dawson. A member of the Cubs pitching staff for 10 seasons of his 19-year big league career, he owns a career .284 and .226 record with 3,192 strikeouts. He went 24-13 in 1971 to capture the NL Cy Young Award. A 3-time All-Star, he was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1991. Please welcome number 31, Fergie Jenkins. One of the all-time greats, this 1961 NL Rookie of the Year had one of the sweetest swings in all of Major League Baseball. A 6-time All-Star, the 1972 NL batting champion, was elected to the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1987. Ladies and gentlemen, left fielder number 26, sweet swinging Billy Williams. He is the Cubs' all-time leader in games played, at-bats, hits, and runs batted in. And he called Wrigley Field home for all 19 years of his Major League career. An 11-time All-Star, the 1960 Gold Glove Award winner, and 2-time NL MVP. He's one of 26 players in history to hit 500 home runs in his career and was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1977. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Cub, number 14, Ernie Banks. Ladies and gentlemen, a final round of applause for these legends. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to throw out today's ceremonial first pitch on the 100th birthday of Wrigley Field, using the ball, her grandmother, Dessa Wiegman, threw out at a game 100 years ago, and joined by her brother, Michael Ken Smith, Paul Wiegman Smith, and cousin Craig Bradway. Please welcome Sue Quigg. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise. Kindly remove your caps. As Navy Color Guard from the Captain James A. Lovell Federal Health Care Center present this afternoon's colors. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please remain standing and join Wayne Messmer, accompanied by Gary Pressey at the Lowry organ, as they honor America with our national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er
Wayne Messmer, a Wrigley Field fixture for decades, getting us set for Cubs baseball on the 100th birthday of this great ballpark. Cubs baseball brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Ford, manufacturers of America's best-selling brand. Check out our best-selling lineup at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Chicago Federals baseball in Kinescope. Mixing eras here. Cubs baseball in high definition on WGN TV is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. The throwback unis, the Cubs wearing the actual stirrups today. That navy blue look. That's a great uniform, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really digging this look. At the old-time unis in this ballpark, it's a great fit.
So to kind of put into context how historic a day this is, our good friend Ed Hardig with Dan Roan on our pregame coverage said the next day like this in baseball, celebrating a ballpark's 100th birthday, will be in 2062. Dodger Stadium,
yeah.
We hope we're all still around then, but that kind of sums up how rare this is. Fenway Park, a couple of years ago, celebrated its centennial. And those are the Kansas City Packers uniforms, so they've got feds on their unis as well. So obviously the Federal League wanted everyone to know about the league, and we'll have more about that particular short-lived league that did have an impact on baseball history. I think the biggest impact is this ballpark.
Yeah, it broke ground March 4th, opened April 23rd. Amazing that they got it done in time. Obviously, a lot of enhancements have taken place since that time. But yeah, this, the Shy Feds were here for a couple of years. Cubs moved over from the west side. This is the last ballpark that Jackie Robinson played in. This is a link to the history of the game. I know from a player's perspective, if you retired before 1992, you didn't. There's only a handful of ballparks still standing that you played in.
Federal League was called an outlaw league, and some players jumped from the major leagues to the Federal League, and really was the third major league 100 years ago, but it had to fold after the 1915 season. When we come back, we'll have the lineups, the first pitch, and all the action on this historic day from the corner of Clark and Addison. Stay with us. We're going to feature a lot of music from 1914, or as we like to call it, JD's iPod. Annual income back in 1914, $577. Most of that in a new car if you so chose to buy one. A new house, $3,500. But you could get a gallon of milk for 32 cents and a loaf of bread for $6.
I'd be dead if I were average.
Now the KC Packers lineup, they are struggling big time. Gerardo Parra is a right fielder leading off. Martin Prado, Paul Goldschmidt second in the MVP balloting last year. Miguel Montero is a catcher. Aaron Hill at second. Cody Ross does have an average, but it's 0 at the moment. Chris Owings, the shortstop. Former Cub Tony Campana is in center, and Wade Miley off to a good start at the dish. Will do the pitching.
Well, let's see who's in the field for the Federals this afternoon. Lake Bonifacio and Ruggiano in the outfield. Olt went deep again last night. He gets a start at third. Castro and Barney in the middle. Rizzo is the first baseman. Wellington Castillo behind the plate for Jeff Samardzija, who's simply been brilliant so far this year. He doesn't have any wins yet. 1.29 ERA, the worst run support in baseball. So 4 outstanding starts, but no W's yet for Jeff. He's gone 7 innings in each of his 4 starts.
Among the league leaders in earned run average, but as JD mentioned, still looking for that first victory as he faces Parra. I think every player, everybody in uniform, pretty excited about today on both sides, and the umpires too. How about Tom Woodring? Gets to work the plate on this historic day. Brian O'Nora, DJ Rayburn, and Dan Bellino around the bases. Left field, Junior Lake is over the slide. He's got it and avoids injury to boot. Nicely done to start the ball game.
Wow, what a play by Junior Lake. So far the Cubs can do no wrong in this series. They've been swinging the bats. The pitching has been outstanding, and they've been flashing some leather, but probably none better than that one right there by Junior Lake. Extra bases taken away from Gerardo Parra. Would have been at least a leadoff double.
So one away, and here's Martin Prado. This is an anniversary for him, the 8th of his major league debut with the Atlanta Braves back in 2006. See, there is that Diamondbacks A logo on the left sleeve of the visitors today. That ball lifted in the air to right. Not really flying today as Ruggiano makes a catch. The wind is blowing straight in over the center field scoreboard out of the northeast at 10, and it's 40 crisp degrees. Feels a lot better in the sun.
Feels like 1914. Wonder what it felt like in 1914.
Here's Paul Goldschmidt. Got 4 hits in the series, and he looks at ball 1. The Cubs have won 2 in a row for the first time this season. They're trying to win 3 straight for the first time since late July of last year.
As a starting pitcher, Jeff 0-1 with a .582 in 3 starts against the Diamondbacks in his career. There you go.
It's getting into the
That's
spirit.
what I'm talking about.
Look out. Nice play. Darwin Barney. Oh. How about the leather flashed here in the first inning? Lake and Barney. The Packers scoreless. Here come the Feds. Mazda in the 2014 Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. Bonifacio, Lake, and Rizzo's been great at home. Ruggiano and Wright knocked in a couple last night. Starlin Castro's been way better at home than on the road. Mike Alt's going to get some playing time here coming up. More on that later. Castillo, Barney, and Samardzija rounded out.
Packers D-backs defensively. Ross, Campana, Parra in the outfield. Parra's won a couple of Gold Gloves. Martin Prado at third today. He played second last night. Made a big error, costly error for the Diamondbacks. Owings and Hill in the middle today. Paul Goldschmidt is the first baseman, and Miguel Montero behind the plate for 27-year-old left-hander Wade Miley. 2 up, 2 down, 4.35 ERA through 5 starts.
Well, the guy stepping into the box was born 71 years to the day after Weekman Park opened. Happy 29th birthday, Emilio Bonifacio. Strike 1. I was just thinking, wouldn't it have been neat if these two teams had to use the equipment they used back in 1914? I assume Lake and Barney still would have made those plays with the old gloves. Maybe not.
They would have had to use 2 hands. I don't know. It would have been tough. I thought it would have been fun if they left their gloves on the field like they used to do in the old days.
Sure. Share them today. 2 balls and a strike. Miley back quickly. Now 3-1. Send us a Pony Express note at LennonJD at Tribune.com. We're on Facebook and Twitter as well. Love your Cubs selfie. Charles Weekman, I don't think he took that photo. Hashtag WGN Cubs. Bounced in front of the plate, and it's a leadoff walk.
Bonifacio, the switch hitter, came into this game hitting a robust .524 from the right side. He's been doing his job as the leadoff man. Last night he had the night off, and Luis Valbuena was in that spot. He too had a very good night leading off. Miley, a 4-pitch pitcher, fastball 90 to 92, slider, change, and a curve. Awfully tough to run on.
He throws over, and Bonifacio gets back in safely. Special thanks to our entire crew, headed by our executive producer Bob Borwald, for putting all of this together today. Mark Stencil down in the truck, converting all the logos and headshots and the like for this throwback afternoon. Like the collars on the visiting uniforms. I wonder if that'll ever come back.
Well, you know, a lot of teams do like throwback games over the course of the season. But there's something about a throwback game in Wrigley Field. It just seems to fit, doesn't it?
It sure does. Thanks to the Cubs and the folks in the scoreboard as well for their game day video that we showed you at the end of the leadoff man, and we'll probably see it again later on. 1-1 on Lake. Broken bat floater out into right, and a base hit. And the Cubs are in business. 2 on with nobody out.
A couple of dazzling plays in the field, and now the Cubs get started in the bottom of the first leadoff walk and a shattered bat base hit. This ball had a little cutting action in on Lake around the trademark. And he'll take it. Cubs catching this Diamondback team. Well, they've been reeling all year, but really scuffling right now. Comments coming out of the Diamondback clubhouse after the game last night. Not a lot of positive thoughts going on over there. A couple of their veterans, Brandon McCarthy, who pitched last night, Eric Chavez, both saying, "Hey man, we've been on bad clubs before, but never anything like this."
Strike called on Anthony Rizzo. This is a matchup of opening day starters. Wade Miley was not even scheduled to go to Australia. And Patrick Corbin went down with Tommy John surgery.
And it's kind of funky. He's made 3 starts against the Dodgers already this year.
This is kind of another throwback day for him, considering he pitched on the cricket grounds in Sydney back on March 22nd. Took the loss in that game. Oh yeah,
quality hat right there.
It is. 2-2 now to Rizzo. Lamb shot. That ball is caught. It'll be a double and almost a triple play. Wow.
That would have altered the mood.
And Kirk Gibson, I think, is going to head on out and at least give his coaching staff time to take a look at it, as Lake was just able to get back safely at first. There's the first out. There's number 2, and they almost turned 3. Looks safe.
Yeah, he's in there.
Just like that, 2 gone.
That's kind of funky. Rizzo must have hit that ball with his thumbs.
Justin Ruggiano, the batter. Now, Tom Skilling called, his researchers looked it up, a high of 53 back on April 23rd, 1914. I don't think we'll get there today. Steve Kahn doing that research. We appreciate it. Swing and a miss. The material of these throwback uniforms is the same material of the regular unis today. I would imagine the actual uniforms worn by the Feds and the Packers were rather heavy. You ever worn a wool baseball uniform?
Yeah, and a day like today when it's cool wouldn't be such a problem, but a hot summer day, sweating in that wool uniform.
Two and one the count. Here's a pitch. Just missed. 3-1.
Lake could be on the move here. You got to make sure Miley goes home. He was not running.
Change up, 3-2. Goldschmidt playing behind the runner, who takes off and called strike 3. Ruggiano is out and Miley escapes. So some of our good friends wishing Wrigley Field a happy 100th. Here's Pat Hughes.
Hi, this is Pat Hughes of Cubs Radio on WGN for the last 18 years. I want to wish Wrigley Field a happy anniversary here in 2014.
Hi, this is Derek Lee. I just want to wish Wrigley Field a happy 100th birthday.
Happy 100th birthday, Wrigley Field.
Hey, this is Darwin Barney. Just want to wish Wrigley Field a happy 100th birthday.
Miguel Montero on the 13th anniversary of his signing with Arizona back in 2001. Having a little trouble getting that baseball out of the basket. Here's the 0-1. It's way inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. (1970). Some fans started to kind of roam around on that ledge, so fouled back. At one time, you weren't allowed to keep a foul ball as a souvenir. Charles Weekman said no, fans should be able to keep the foul balls. Outside, it's 2-2. Samardzija has been incredibly consistent here to start the season. No, he doesn't have a win, but that's not his fault. He's gone exactly 7 innings every time out and has not allowed more than 2 earned runs in any of his starts.
7 shutout on opening day against the Pirates. 7 innings, a 2-run ball against the Phils next time out. A dandy in St. Louis, 1 run there in 7 innings. And last time out against the Reds, he allowed 3 runs, but only 1 earned in his 7 innings of work.
Coming home on a 2-2, and it's off the plate outside. Full 3-2.
7 innings, exactly what the Cubs have gotten from their starters. The first 2 games of this series. Last night it was Jason Hamill, 7 innings of 1-run baseball, and Travis Wood in the opener. There we go. Somebody retrieved that ball.
Another payoff delivery, and he walked him.
Cub fans, if you want to manage the game along with Ricky Renteria, log on to WGNTV.com right now. Click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and information while you're watching from home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape. Pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more.
Comes a struggling Aaron Hill, although a lot of guys right now in this lineup have had a tough go of it. He's 4 for his last 27. If you're the Cubs, you just hope to keep these guys cold for 2 more days. 0-1. Richie Hebner would have loved these collars. He was always pulling the back of his shirt up, wasn't he? Kicked the pitch. Missed.
Why did I see him in a collar? Did the Pirates, did he wear? Well, they had that run with funky uniforms.
Not sure. I just remember.
Sox had the deal with the collar there for a time.
He was always tugging at the back of his jersey. One on the way. Good block by Castillo. He's got a birthday tomorrow. He'll turn 27.
Samardzija's been a fun guy to watch pitch this year because he's been hard to pin down. A couple of starts ago against St. Louis, it was one fastball after another. About 85% of his offerings in that game were heaters. Last time out, threw a lot of splits, used his cutter and slider.
3-1 on Hill after he walked the leadoff man Montero this inning. Cody Ross waiting on deck. Hitless in 16 at bats since coming off the DL. Driven into center for their first hit. Get your tickets to the party of the century all season long. The Cubs continue to celebrate the 10's decade for one more game as they finish off the homestand tomorrow at 1:20 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Tickets are still available, including tickets in the Budweiser bleachers. Go to Cubs.com today. Two on, nobody out, and a foul at the plate by Ross. So the Feds signed Walter Johnson to a 3-year deal, but Clark Griffith apparently stepped in. Personally went to Johnson and made a counter offer to keep him with the Senators. Bill McKechnie, Al Chase, Al Bridwell among those to head to the Federal League. Joe Tinker managed the Feds. Mordecai Brown is a skipper in St. Louis.
The Indianapolis club won the 1914 Federal League. The Chi Feds finished second. Packers were well down in the pack. The Brooklyn Tip Tops were in the league.
Bounce back to Samardzija. They will only get one. Ball gets away from Rizzo, with Montero holding at third. We've mentioned this before, and you should explain it because you pitched. But why is it that the ball back to the mound always is the toughest double play turn?
Yeah, well, any number of reasons. One, pitchers have a tendency to hurry that throw. You're so greedy, you want those 2 outs, you want to make sure you get them. There's a tendency to rush the throw. And sometimes you're a little bit awkward too because you're on a weird angle on the mound, as Samardzija was there. And off the bat, that clearly looked like it was going to be a double play. Had he been able to kind of round the ball a little bit as he fielded it, he would have been in a much better throwing position. He kind of had to spin all the way around before he made that feed to second base. Well, maybe the base runner going from second to third got his attention for just a wee bit as well.
Strike on the shortstop, Chris Owings. First and third with 1 out.
And with a more aggressive round of third base, Montero might have been able to score as that ball got away from Rizzo, but he had kind of settled in there at the bag.
Ground ball. Backhanded by Castro. They get one. Throw to first on the bounce. Not in time. Owings beats it out, and that fielder's choice will give him an RBI, and it's 1-0.
Owings runs well. You knew it was going to be a tough double play to turn with Castro having to drift into the hole.
No errors in this inning, but a couple of chances for a double play, and the Cubs, if they could have turned one of them, would have been out of the inning. First time the Diamondbacks have led in this series. Campana bounces one. Castro's got to hurry, got rid of it quickly, and he gets the speedster. Campana has not reached in the series. The Packers / Diamondbacks get on the board first, 1-0.
Waiting to propose to me. So if you don't.
Across Waveland, Joe Pausbach's over there on the Glen Allen Hill rooftop. Wrigleyville Rooftops has premier seating for up to 200 guests for corporate gatherings, family reunions, and bachelorette parties. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to WrigleyvilleRooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF. Hey, Pawsey. That song, by the way, if you don't want my peaches, you better stop shaking my tree. That's the Songfellows. Saw them open up for Nirvana.
Sing it, fellas.
You're as cold as an Eskimo. There's 1,000 others waiting to propose to me. So if you don't want my peaches, you'd better stop shaking my tree.
Maybe a little plagiarism from Steve Miller Band.
They had it first. Cubs trail 1-0 here in the second. We will have the commissioner of baseball, Bud Selig, in the booth with us today. Ricketts, the chairman's going to stop by. Full count, 3-2.
Miley on the attack here, working quickly. Good pitcher. 16-game winner 2 years ago, 16-11 in 2012. 10-10 last year, but very good ERA, 3.55. That was a nasty slide ball. Featured guest to an awesome view of Wrigley Field from the Budweiser Bleacher Suite. The Bleacher Suite features a sports bar atmosphere, new TVs, high top tables. Really a one-of-a-kind Wrigley Field experience. The suite can hold up to 100, includes food, drinks, and parking. For more information, visit Cubs.com/suites or call 773-404-4200. He's working so fast I can't even read the promo.
I know. Mike Holt takes ball one. He's going to start playing more regularly. And a big 3-run homer to the opposite field last night. And I was talking to him about this ballpark. He said, you know, the wind blowing in really helped me last night. I was thinking, I can't hit a home run tonight. He's just thinking base hit. And when you think line drives, usually good things happen.
And he's exhibited very good off-field power. got 4 home runs. Now 3 of them have come against left-handed pitching.
And that's basically what it does here. In fact, at times you'll see it blow in 2 out of every 3 days. Aaron Hill will pick it up, the spin, the throw, and the out. While we have a moment, let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Two down in the inning. Wellington Castillo will dig in. Yeah, the Packers and the Federals. Great to have you with us on this enormous anniversary. There's a strike called on Castillo. And the commissioner is with us. Bud Selig stopping by. Commissioner Selig, thanks for being here today on this great day.
It's a pleasure to be here, Len. Believe me, Jim. It's quite a day standing on that field and thinking back to my own history here, which started in 1944. So this is really, it's just remarkable.
And there are a lot of things to this day that will remind you of 1944. That's a great thing about it.
You know, Len, that's so true. I couldn't help but thinking driving in today, it looks like it did when I first started coming here in the 40s, and that's the beauty of this. This moment has been captured. Ballpark, really, you stand here and you think to all the games you've seen and all the moments that you've had, and it's really, you know, I've been lucky. My commissionership, because I celebrated Fenway's 100th and now Wrigley's 100th.
Well, we'll keep you here for a couple of minutes if you don't mind.
Sure,
and,
I don't mind at all.
Go down memory lane, 1-0 Packers. '100th birthday, and we are with baseball commissioner Bud Selig. This is an interesting year, I think, for the anniversary of this ballpark because of the tradition and history of this game, but also moving forward with replay. That's the constant challenge. I know you talk a lot about not fundamentally changing the game, but also keeping up with the times, so to speak.
Well, you know, Len, that's true. And I remember when I took over in 1992, I knew that there were a lot of things that we needed to do. But you can't you can't disturb the history and the tradition of the game. You have to be so careful. We have a history and tradition unlike really almost anything else, and yet we live in a different era. Times are changing, and so I think what we've done at least has been good, and I'm proud of our guys on replay. I know there's been a little glitch here and there, but you know, when you start something new, you're always going to have a little glitch. But Tony La Russa called me Sunday night at home, and I had just gotten home from Phoenix, and he said, have you seen any games? I said, no, I've really been traveling. I saw early. And he wanted me to know there were 6 instant replays, and they all had worked well. And so he then went through every one of them with me, and he was right. They had worked well.
It has gone faster, I will say. The first couple of days, we had a couple that took a while.
Right.
But I just like
they need to go, and you're right. They need to go fast. I'm sort of setting a 2-minute limit. I think I would hope that we can get this done within 2 minutes or less.
Well, I don't know how you are, but there's about a 3 or 4 look window that I have, and then I start to get more confused than.
and if you haven't been able to figure it out within those 3 or 4 looks, then you're probably going to come down on the side of the play.
Absolutely
stands,
correct.
Right?
That's absolutely right.
1-1 the count on Gerardo Parra.
We've had actually really not a lot of controversy. We had the one at Yankee Stadium, which our guys were great. They admitted it was a mistake, and look, other sports use replay, and you know there's lots of mistakes that go on, as the 3 of us know. But overall, I'm really very satisfied that we're off to an excellent start.
So let's get back to the ballpark here.
Yeah.
What is it for you, specifically about the setting, just the vibe of Wrigley Field that sets it apart?
For me personally, my first trip here, as I said, was 1944. I also saw Jackie Robinson play his first game in Chicago in May of 1947, sitting in the upper deck right over here, as a matter of fact. And there's so much history and tradition, and I guess I have the same feeling I had in Fenway a couple of years ago. Then these are. I don't want to be trite, but it's true. These are our cathedrals. There's no question. Wrigley Field and Fenway Park are our cathedrals. Old Yankee Stadium was too. But and so the fact they've been able to be preserved means so much to this sport. And I give the Ricketts family a great deal of credit, doing everything they can to modernize it, to be competitive, but stay in this great setting. And so when I drove in today, I keep looking around saying, this is the way it's always looked. And it made me feel good. And now here you are in Wrigley, so familiar with everything. And it's hard to articulate how much this means to the sport and how good this is for baseball. But it means a great deal, and I'm proud.
Well, there's a reason, right? When all the new ballparks were being built, places like this became the model. Get away from the cookie cutters and go back to baseball-only stadiums.
Right. Well, we went back. You know, we lost that. We had the old ballparks. And, when I was a kid, Ebbets Field and the Polo Grounds and Connie Mack Stadium and on and on and on. And then we went into the circular parks, which weren't very good and had no history, no tradition, no uniqueness, no distinctiveness. And now we have them all over the place. But remember, it all started right here.
And Dick Butkus had a great quote. He said, the pinnacle for a football player of my era was to play in a baseball park.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely right. And I remember a lot of great Packer Bear games of that era.
Well, Wrigley Field, Tiger Stadium,
you bet.
Yankee Stadium.
You bet. Absolutely.
Shea.
Yes, absolutely right.
Long at bat here for Gerardo Parra. There's the 3-2 and another foul.
Well, you know, you think about it too. I mean, our country hasn't been around that long. We're a young nation. So in Europe, they've got all these, you know, you talk about the cathedrals and castles, you know, that go back centuries and centuries. And,
that's true.
You know, for about half of our existence, you know, this ballpark has been here. It's an amazing thing.
Well, you think of all the generations of people that have come here, you know, standing on the field today and watching, at least for me, Billy Williams and Fergie Jenkins and Ernie Banks, obviously. you can't duplicate it, and it means so much not only to the team and to the sport, but more importantly to the community. And so all you got to say is Chicago, and you think Wrigley Field, and it's remarkable.
Yeah, well, if you're coming to Chicago and you only had a day and you had to choose what to do, you might want to go to a history museum. You might want to go to a ballpark. You come here and you get both.
You bet. That's exactly right.
Ball gets away, and Parle will move to second.
I was walking around downstairs before in the concourse, and I just now I can see. You know, I not that I ever could, because I can almost go decade by decade and have a lot of memories, but it was just looking at it, and I said to the people I was with, well, this is the way it was, guys, and so it's great.
Runner at second with one out.
Who could have ever dreamed you'd be celebrating the 100th birthday at Wrigley Field in Fenway Park?
Really remarkable. And I noted this earlier. It bears repeating. The next 100th birthday of a ballpark will be in 2062. Dodger Stadium. So it's going to be a while before we have another one quite like this.
I'm not sure they'll make 100 in L.A.
We'll see.
We'll see. Now, we won't see, but somebody will see.
In the air, and Bonifacio is camped underneath. And he makes a catch. Well, the ivy hasn't grown in yet, but the vines are out there, and that's a reminder of
that's right.
Bill Beck in 1937.
Right.
You mentioned the basket, built 1970. You've got the iconic scoreboard. There's some information on the vines that went up in 37. So you think about Bill Beck on a day like this.
Yeah, you're right. Bill Beck, there's no question about it. And you think back to the post-war era, and I remember all the excitement here. And then I remember when the Braves came to Milwaukee, and I used to come down to see the Braves and the Cubs, and it was a lot of drama in this ballpark, a lot of excitement, and the great history when you think of Babe Ruth hitting a home run. I know there's a big debate whether he actually did or not, but that's it. He pointed out the right thing.
Commissioner Seelig, thanks so much for being here today.
Pleasure to be with both.
We really appreciate the time.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you. Pleasure.
By Xfinity. Here's how the top half of the first ended. Darwin Barney doing what Darwin Barney does. Spectacular play out behind the bag. Can't do it any better than that. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
Thanks to the commissioner for stopping by. Your way here, and the Cubs batting in the third. Down 1-0, and it's 2-0. Darwin Barney. Wade Miley has worked fast and effectively here early on.
Yeah, his MO is to attack early, try to get ahead of you with strike one, and then expand the strike zone. Willing to throw that fastball over a big part of the plate to get the jump on the hitter, and then he'll start mixing his pitches up. He likes to try to put right-handed hitters away with that slider towards the back foot.
It's full, 3-2. Bounced foul. Miley shaved his head following his start against the Dodgers on April 12th in support of his childhood friend, Johnny Santangelo III, nicknamed Little Man. Recently had a malignant brain tumor removed in Phoenix. As Barney takes the leadoff walk. Cubs baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds. Here's Jeff Samardzija, a bunting situation. And that will go foul. Speaking of bunting, it's all over the ballpark, which is great to see. That means it's a big day. And the Cubs chairman is with us, Tom Ricketts.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Doing great, Tom. What a day.
Oh, it's great. It's great. The park looks great. Hope I look this good when I'm 100. I think this it's just a gorgeous day.
Hey, with modern medicine, you'll get there.
Right.
We do have a 100th birthday to pass along. Margaret Crum from Rushville, Illinois, will turn 100 this Sunday. So, Margaret, we hope it's as fun as this one's been here today.
So busy day, no doubt. Up early. Saw you on Morning Joe this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been great.
Fun.
Obviously, a lot of national attention in the media about today's big birthday, and just having a fun time with it. Obviously, the commissioner's here, and a lot of great former players.
Fine foul. That's strike 3.
And of course, not just former baseball players. We got Gale Sayers and Dick Butkus came out today, and a few others. So it's been really a fun day.
Yeah, the Bears made their home here for a half a century. Great ovations for Dick Butkus and Gale Sayers. You see Ted Phillips here. Biggest hand always for Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks.
Yeah, it was a great ceremony. And then the biplanes came over. A nice 1914 touch to finish it up. So it was it's just as good as it could be.
Did you get a chance to spend some time in the Cub clubhouse before the game? Are the players excited about this, or is it just another day at the office for the players?
You know, I really don't know. I think they're okay with it. I think it's kind of fun. I mean, the dugout was buzzing because everybody, there's all these great, Hall of Famers and the commissioner there. So some of the players came out and were kind of hanging out, enjoying the scene.
John Baker said Wrigley Field is kind of like a soldier. It's lasted for so long. I was talking with Wesley Wright. He said, from Alabama, watched Cubs baseball on WGN. So really proud to be a part of this.
Well, when you think about it, 100 years ago, for $250,000 in 9 weeks, they created the first version of this ballpark. And, effectively, it's still the same. Obviously, the upper deck came later, and the bleachers have been redone a couple times. But it's still basically the same ballpark. It's pretty amazing.
9 weeks. That's amazing.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? There's great old photos of horses pulling wagons with steel beams on top of them. Like, it's just...
You couldn't fathom that today.
Not at all.
And you just think about Clark and Addison, famous corner. It started 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And just the way the footprint, right, of this block fits into the city.
So the irony is, too, right? So the Cubs were playing over on the west side of town.
Right.
The Federals opened this ballpark. Wigman opens this ballpark. And obviously the Cubs at the time would not be big fans of Charlie Wigman opening up this ballpark in 1914, this outlaw third major league. And then for it to become home for the Cubs.
Yeah, he was obviously a competitor. The National League did not want the Federal League to do well. And then Wiegum, who had made his money in lunch counters, kind of like a fast food restaurant the other day. Lucky Charlie Wiegum it was a very successful businessman, and he put a lot of money into the park on a relative basis. And this was a lot nicer than where the Cubs played. So when the Federal League went down, it was sitting, and the Cubs swooped in. And then, of course, over time, William Wrigley bought the majority ownership of the team. And then through the 20s and 30s, the Wrigleys really did fabulous stuff. They spent a lot of money. They really loved the ballpark. They made all the changes that you see, obviously the ivy and the scoreboard and upper deck and those things. And they were very, very proud of the field during that period of time. And we basically just preserved it. Now we got to figure out a way to save it for the next 100 years.
Wiegman Park to Cubs Park, and then in 1926 became known as the name we all know it by, and that is Wrigley Field. And I love the word field. It's not stadium, it's not ballpark. It's
an early naming rights deal.
Yeah, no question.
That's also what I say, too, like when Wrigley Field is a ballpark. We were out in New York last week at Yankee Stadium. I mean, Yankee Stadium's a stadium.
Yeah, it fits.
We're still a ballpark.
Yeah, Yankee Stadium looks, you could call it a coliseum.
You have it, Wiegman, 14, then Cubs Park, which is the name of the new spring training facility in Mesa. And then Wrigley Field.
And it was nice today. The representatives of the Wiegman family were here. They had a ball from 1914 that they threw. I don't know if you caught that part. But
did you get a chance to check that out?
And I didn't grab it. Todd got the nod to be the receiver on that today.
I didn't know Todd was a lefty.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He does everything a little differently in the family. So
you learn something new every day. 2-2 pitch, and late swings and misses. Tom, thanks for stopping by. Congrats. What a day.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to the ballpark.
Yeah, great to see you guys. Have a great day. Thanks.
That's fun.
Forward to upcoming schedule. Wrap up the series tomorrow, 1 o'clock for the leadoff man on WGN. Then a tough road trip. Cubs will be in Milwaukee this weekend and then at Cincinnati next Monday through Wednesday. Ford, go further in any one of Ford's many fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. There's magnetic rag by Scott Joplin. Diving stop, Darwin Barney to get Montero.
Wow, what a show he's putting on with the glove today. Trying to squeak one through that hole on the right side. Rizzo takes a step or two to his right, then realizes, I got a guy over there going to handle that for me. Retreats to the bag, and Barney does indeed make another spectacular play.
Hill, that's a fair ball past Alt, and it should be a double for Hill. He's 2 for 2.
Like a slider that just didn't do a whole lot. Stayed on the plate. Probably that was the intention, just trying to get ahead. First pitch slider.
So the Federal League also has another interesting place in baseball history. The Supreme Court ruled in 1922. We're getting ready to sing Happy Birthday to the Ballpark in the 5th. There's the 0-1 on Cody Ross. It's outside. Federal Baseball Club versus the National League. This was brought on by one of the teams that was not bought out. That Major League Baseball was exempt from the Sherman Antitrust Act. Hill on his way to third. Ross is thrown out. 2 away. So when we say, yeah, that American and National Leagues were not fond of the Federal League, that is very true, but it went away after a couple of years without some
negotiated settlement, right? And that's how Charlie Wigman got to be a part of the Cubs.
To third, Alt will pick it up. He will get Owings, and the Diamondbacks strand a runner at third. They lead 1-0 in the 4th. Anthony Rizzo to lead it off. Unfortunately, the trend has continued, but it's still early as Rizzo sends one high in the air. Campana drifting to his right toward left center, and he's got it. Jeff Samardzija hasn't gotten much run support, and that has continued early on today, but give Wade Miley the credit for that to this point.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks starting pitching this year has really struggled to the tune of an ERA well up over 7, but Miley's been pretty solid. So you figured if somebody was going to dial up a good one in this series, he might be the guy.
Yeah, not too many rotations have gotten off to a worse start here in the first month of the season than Arizona has. 7.23 coming into today, 1-1. This is Mark Burley-like in terms of the small amount of time he takes between pitches.
He's working like he's double parked. Who knows, he might be.
Lets it go by. Barehanded play and the out. Martin Prado with a dandy. Most players will tell you on defense that they're more engaged when their pitcher's working as quickly as Miley is.
Not an easy play either. On the bare hand. Well, and this is the way the game was played back in the day. 1914, smack dab in the middle of the dead ball era. Won a lot of slugging. Players choked up on the bat, slapped it around, a lot of bunts and hit and run plays.
Big cut and a foul tip by Castro. Start this at bat. He struck out in the second. He's hitting .315 over his last 16 games. 350. I said 315. Give him those extra 35 points. Hey, it's Clark. Ready to set the balloons loose. Photo opportunities. Miley's only previous start here was not good. He gave up 7 runs in 7 innings and allowed 3 homers. May 31st of last year. 2-2. Southeastern Louisiana University, supplemental first-round pick, 2008. If it weren't for that kid named Bryce Harper, he would have been the Rookie of the Year in 2012. Campana makes the catch. Miley cruising along here as the Cubs go down quietly 1-2-3. Cubs have kept Tony Campana off the bases so far. 0 for 9 in the series. He's been filling in for A.J. Pollock with neck issues.
Doing what he's supposed to do, hitting the ball on the ground. He grounded out for the cycle last night. 1 to short, 1 to third, 1 to second, and bounced out to Rizzo in the 9th. He would have been good back in the dead ball era. Speed was at a premium.
Bonifacio makes a catch.
Cubs injury report is sponsored by Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, and we'll show you a look at a healthy Wrigley Field. See it way back in the day. Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, helping you move better so you could live better. Visit ibji.com.
Abba Dabba honeymoon.
Set the monkey to the chimp.
Miley came in 5 for 12 on the year. Caught looking on strikes his first time up.
Two-seamer down and away. Got it up.
There were 10 brass bands here 100 years ago today, according to the Chicago Tribune. According to the story, plus 20 pretty young members of the Daughters of the Grand Army of the Republic Relief Corps. Feds beat the Packers 9-1. This will be picked up by Alt. Campana had hit it. It would have been a hit, but Miley doesn't run nearly as well. Stay tuned. The 7th inning stretch coming up, brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. How about that quartet? Fergie, Billy, Dick Butkus, Dutchie Carey. Strike to Parra. 1 for 2, robbed of a hit by Junior Lake to lead off the game.
There's been at least 3 outstanding plays by the Cubs defensively. Lake and on Parra, and then 2 by Barney. Just 1 strikeout in the game for Jeff Samardzija here this afternoon. Been his MO this year, pitching to contact, trying to limit the pitches so he can pitch deeper into the game.
Get well wishes go out to Susie Hochberger, recovering from an illness, lifelong Cub fan. Swing and a miss. Tag applied, and we will keep it here to sing happy birthday.
Fans in all of sports and wishing Wrigley Field a happy birthday.
we see which.
Can't have a birthday party without balloons.
Cupcakes this morning handed out to the first 10,000 fans. And let's get some more happy birthday greetings, starting with Hall of Famer Andre Dawson.
Hey, this is Andre Dawson.
Hi, I'm Starling Castro.
This is Gary Matthews Sarge, wishing Wrigley Field happy 100th birthday.
On behalf of Major League Baseball, I want to wish Wrigley Field a very happy 100th birthday.
Happy 100th birthday, Wrigley Field.
Happy 100th birthday, Wrigley Field.
Great ballpark and one of my all-time favorites.
Sir, do you realize you have a birthday cake on your head? I think he does. And to get something going here offensively.
Have fans in a very festive mood, big crowd on hand. You'd like to reward them. I'd like to reward Samardzija too, my goodness.
Fortunately, Chad Jeffrey couldn't make it today. He had tickets, but his back bothering him as that ball is thumped into left for a leadoff single for Mike Olt. Chad watching WGN at a local hotel. That back feels better.
Get yourself some room service. Put your feet up and enjoy the ball game. Cubs have really been swinging the bats well of late. Last 4 ball games, 42 hits, I believe I counted up. Just 2 now here this afternoon.
Healthy cut there by Castillo. It's 0-2. Gets way away and will bounce out of play. So Alt now second after a very wild pitch. The great shots of the hats in the stands by our camera crew and our director Skip Ellison. We think about Arnie Harris, who is always in our thoughts. He would have loved to have been here today. Jack and Harry. Ground ball, base hit. Alt's going to have to be held at third. His first move was back towards second. And the ground ball in front of him. And they're at the corners with nobody out for Darwin Barney.
A big chance to at least draw even now as Castillo stays back and down on this breaking ball from Miley. You see Olt there having to make sure it gets through, so no chance for him to score. Yeah, well, Harry would have turned 100 this year. He was born in March of 1914.
Best chance for the Cubs today against this left-hander Wade Miley. Low ball 1.
Almost got through the 5-hole on Montero. Be aware of that potential for a ball in the dirt. Diamondbacks will play for 2 and concede a run here.
tie the ball game, and Barney is safe. Ball gets passed. And they're at second and third with still nobody out. And Aaron Hill has not yet gotten up.
Well, Barney's having a fine ball game. A couple of spectacular plays in the field. Now a little push bunt that goes for a base hit. I believe it'll go for a base hit. We'll see. Maybe a little more of a sense of urgency needed on the part of Paul Goldschmidt here. Didn't really hurry that throw at all. Give him a sacrifice, an error on Goldschmidt, and an RBI.
Infield in against the pitcher's Samardzija. Chance to jump on top for the first time.
I don't know. Is this an error on Paul Goldschmidt?
Well, the throw would have beaten him, but this was not the easiest play in the world.
No, I mean, yeah, I guess the throw's a little high.
Samardzija pops down the right field line and it will land foul untouched.
First time I saw the replay, I thought, well, that's a ball Hill probably should have caught, and maybe he should have been charged with the error. But given that Barney was diving in at his ankles, and the throw was up and off the line a little bit. The biggest mistake Goldschmidt made was just, again, not a real sense of urgency and coming after that ball.
Two and two on Samardzija. Fly ball pretty well hit. Campana circling. Both runners ready to tag. Campana makes a catch. His throw is going to go toward third. And Samardzija helping his own cause. Cubs pitchers now knocking in, 5 runs over the last 3 days? For Travis Wood's big night on Monday.
A rare lead for Samardzija. One more out there and see if Bonifacio can bring him home. Squeeze.
Chopper toward short, throw to first, out there, but Bonifacio knocks in a run. So the Cubs with 3 RBI at bats without a hit. They had 2 hits to start the inning. 3-1 now.
Dead ball era baseball. Chop it on the ground.
Gritty shot like heck club. Station to station.
Yes, chop it on the ground, run hard. Go to the clubhouse afterwards and make a sandwich with a 6-cent loaf of bread.
Lake bunts foul.
Parking lot would be full of fancy 1914 sedans.
Good day for Barney, both sides, offense and defense. Miley's 0-2. He struck him out swinging, and the inning is over, but the Cubs get 3 and lead it 3-1. You get to and from Wrigley Field, or you can ride your bike and use the Cubs courtesy bike check, located near the corner of Clark and Waveland. For drivers, the Cubs provide free parking and shuttle services on night and weekend games from 3900 North Rockwell. For details, it's Cubs.com. Ballpark in all its glory under the bright sunshine today. And the Cubs in their throwback Scheifele's unis leading 3-1, and great to have with us Ed Hardig, Cubs historian. We get all kinds of great notes from Ed. Usually we just kind of throw out some sort of weird historical question, and then I get an email about 3 minutes later. Ed, great to have you here as always.
Thank you, Len. And I am a real person too. I'm not someone made up. So
there he is, everybody.
I do exist. I'm not living in my mother's basement, as a lot of people imply through emails I get.
She'll let you move upstairs?
Well, at times. The kitchen's up there, too, you know.
So when did you start your database of just everything Cubs history and Wrigley Field related? Because I can't ask a question that you haven't researched in some fashion.
Well, let me tell you, I grew up on the South Side in a family of White Sox fans. So
we'll get out of play.
So when I was 5, I started collecting clippings of Cub games. And I was very fortunate that my parents didn't throw that stuff away. So 40-plus years ago, Len.
So you have newspaper clippings from how long back?
40-plus years, Len.
Okay, I got you. But have you found stuff, obviously, from 80, 90, 100 years ago in various places?
Oh, yeah, and things are so much easier now than they were. I've been working for the Cubs about 20 years. 10 years ago, you'd have to sit in a library and go through microfilm and all that fun stuff. Nowadays, with the online databases, everything's a touch away.
So, JD, you were running the scoreboard while we were chatting with the commissioner of baseball and then Cubs chairman Tom Ricketts.
Yes, I can't hit or pitch, but I can change the batter number on the scoreboard. And we got 3 runs. So
there you go. The Chicago Sunday Tribune. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So JD brought up the West Side grounds and then this ballpark. So give us kind of the landscape of 1913 to 1916 when everything kind of changed here in terms of ballparks and teams and leagues.
Okay, so the Cubs would have played at the West Side grounds in 1913, actually since 1893 through 1915. In 1913, a new minor league called the Federal League starts. It's a real low-level minor league. There's a team in Chicago. They play over at DePaul University. Seats about 7,000 people. The plan for the league was to remain a low-level, independent minor league. Well, partway through the season, there was an ownership change of the Chicago team, and the new owners for the Federal League said, or the Chicago Federal said, "Why are we setting the bar so low? Why not declare ourselves a third major league?"
The 0-2, there's a base hit.
So James Gilmore was his name. He was the owner and chief financial backer of the Chicago team, and he convinced the other owners that, yeah, let's give it a try. So the league goes ahead and declares itself a major league. Gilmore now needs someone to lead his Chicago team, and that's where Charlie Weigman comes in. Charlie Weigman had made a couple attempts to buy the Cubs. He failed, obviously. He also had made an attempt to buy the St. Louis Cardinals that fell through at the last minute. So he was desperate to get in baseball, so he jumped up at the opportunity. But he said, in order for me to do this, we need to have a major league quality ballpark. You know, DePaul Field just didn't do it. So we have 8 acres of land here on the north side. It's a former celery field turned seminary that had been vacant for about 3-4 years. So Weigman signs a 99-year lease for the new home for his Chicago Federal League team.
So we mentioned it was built very quickly. It was a bouncer foul, and
there were some seminary buildings still on the property. So from demolition to the very first game, it was 60 days. There was a brief labor strike. There also was a brief time between the demolition and actual groundbreaking. So real building time was about 45, 46 days, something along those lines.
Incredible. 2 strikes to Montero, and it's low, and they had to reconfigure some things, right? Because too many home runs occurred right off the bat.
The opening series here, there were 9 home runs hit in 3 games. And this was during the time when you led the league with 8 or 9 home runs. So they measured off the distance to the left field, and they said, you know what, it's just too close.
1-2, 2-2.
Now, one difficulty was there actually was a home on the northeast or on the north side of the park, and that person still had time on their lease, and they weren't willing to leave. But the porch on the house was not covered in the lease, so they took the porch down and they backed the wall up all the way to the house. And
Sounds like a reality series.
And they did that, after the first series here at the park.
Swing and a miss, 2 outs. That speaks to the neighborhood feel of the ballpark. Literally, I'm not leaving.
Well, later in that
What's
season,
for dinner tonight? That depends on what the concessions have.
Later that season, actually, someone hit a ball that hit the house, but because the house was overhanging the wall, it was considered in play. So, someone knocks on your window, it could be a baseball.
Aaron Hill with 2 outs. And a strike. So then the Cubs move in here in 1960.
So the Federal League and organized baseball were involved in multiple lawsuits over 2 years. And a lot had to do with the reserve clause. And the Federal League was signing players whose contract with the American or National League had ended. But organized baseball felt that those players still belonged to their teams. That was the reserve clause. So right away, the lawsuits start. So for the most part, during the 2-year a major league, the owners of the Federal League spent more time in the courtroom than at the ballpark. And after 2 years, the 2 sides finally came to an agreement. The Federal League would fold. They would drop their lawsuits, but 2 owners would be able to buy into Major League Baseball, and one of them was Charlie Weigman.
Loop base hit into right. Big day for Aaron Hill. Already 3 for 3. And continues.
Is there any evidence to suggest that Weigman's plan was to do that all along, that ultimately he just wanted to join the existing major leagues? Or
actually, he had made a couple of attempts, and he had all but signed the papers to buy the Cardinals in 1911. So he definitely wanted to be the Cubs, but definitely wanted to be in Major League Baseball. right away, there were, with the Federal League, they started realizing that contracts were jumping up, and they were overpaying for second-tier players. So pretty much right away, there was negotiations to try to combine the two leagues, with Wiegman taking over the Chicago team. The problem is Charles Webb Murphy and Charles Taft, who their owners didn't want to sell right away.
Cody Ross with his first hit of the season, and he makes it a one-run game. He snaps an 0 for 18, and it's now 3-2.
But if Murphy could have, or Wiegman could have convinced Murphy and Taft to sell him a year earlier, then the league probably would have folded after 1 year and been done. A lot of Charleses around then.
Clearly.
Of course, you had Charles Ebbett, Charles Comiskey.
So you've been asked this question, so I know the answer, but I've seen it in print. Any event in the history of this ballpark you could have witnessed in person would have been what?
Baseball-wise, I'll say Gabby Hartnett's home run in 38. Non-baseball, it'd be the ski jumping in 1944. Yeah, I've seen pictures of the ski jumping. I mean, they pretty much started right where we are now and came down a makeshift hill and landed back at second base. This would have been in January of 1944. But I think Hartnett's home run, that baseball-wise, that's the one game I would have liked to have seen.
And the Feds were the Whales.
You notice
short history, but several names.
You notice the Kansas City logo, the Kansas City Feds. Almost all the teams at some point in time were called the Feds. Well, after 1 year, Charlie Wiegman says, no, this isn't going to work. So he had to pick the name, a fan contest, and they came up with the name Whales.
0-2 on Owings. Pitch. Stay alive. How about you, JD? You saw Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout game, but
yeah.
Go on the way back machine.
Yeah, probably the home run, the Glowman, or any of the World Series game. You know, the Ruth mythical college shot, just to be around to see that.
45 series.
45 series with the Tigers.
Hank Greenberg.
Just to see Stan Hack and Phil Cavaretta and those guys play.
I would really like to go back and get that hanging slider I threw to Todd Zeal back. if I could go back in the Wayback Machine for that.
There's a homer in the Glowman.
Like I said, to me, that's the top baseball moment ever here at Wrigley Field. I know a lot of people say the Ruth's called shot, but I don't believe he called the shot, so I can't call that the top moment.
Barney will make the catch. Ed, always a pleasure. I feel like you gave us a full book of history here.
Well, I gave up one run in the broadcast booth. I got three in the,
you're up two.
Three in the scoreboard.
3-2 Feds over the Packers.
And that is simply because I want to listen to
Caroline. This is our Honda Games summary. Start something special with great leases and low financing on a new Honda. Visit shophonda.com or visit your local Honda dealer. 3-2 advantage for the home team. And a 2-0 count from Miley to Rizzo. Make it 3-0. Ball 4, he walked it. Coming up this Saturday on WGN and nationwide on WGN America, 4 o'clock Central, Wrigley 100, a century celebration. A fantastic 2-hour look at 100 years of Wrigley Field. Lee Williams and Dick Butkus ready for the 7th inning stretch. There's Dutchy Carey. Right.
Two of the biggest hitters in Chicago history.
Yeah, well said. Comes Mike Harkey, a former Cub. He's a pitching coach. Other action, the Baltimore Terrapins with a 3-2 lead over the Indianapolis Hoosiers. They're in the top of the 3rd.
Maybe you'll find that on MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. They're celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Cubs.com for details.
Brooklyn tip-tops. 2-0 lead over the Pittsburgh Rebels in the first. I'm making all this up, but why not?
But you're not making up the names of those clubs.
I am not.
They were the Chicago club finished in 2nd place both years of the Federal League. There's Brad Ziegler, the Submariner. He's kind of their designated get out of the jam guy because he gets so many ground balls. Clean up an inning with a double play ball in a hurry.
Foul tip. 2-1 on Ruggiano. It was a full season in the Federal League that year. Most teams played between 154 and 160 games. The Feds led the league with 52 home runs in 157 games. Ball hit deep out into right center. Justin Ruggiano with a 2-run homer. It's 5-2. The wind has died down, and Ruggiano with his first blast as a Cub. It comes wearing the throwback uniform today. And a 3-run lead. Boy, home runs have been big in this series, haven't they?
Boy, indeed they have. Backdoor cut fastball, and Ruggiano had pulled off that previous pitch, stayed on this one, and well rewarded for his good approach at the plate. So Harkey out to have a chat. That didn't work out so well. Now Montero's going out to buy a little more time for Ziegler.
There was a 3-run homer by Travis Wood off Bronson Arroyo Monday night, the big blow. Last night, Mike Alt off Brandon McCarthy, 3-run homer. And a 2-run shot by Ruggiano will chase Miley today. Katie has aged well over the last decade, century, I should say. That's Happy Birthday by Katy Perry on our Cubs fan cam. Brad Ziegler is on, and a 1-1 to Starlin Castro. Lifted to right. Parra over, and he will not have a play on it.
Ziegler, one of the extreme ground ball pitchers in all of baseball, and mentioned that he's a good guy to bring in with traffic so he can get a big double play. The traffic went away in a hurry when Ruggiano hit that ball into the seats, but he was hot and ready to go, so he gets the call. Making his 12th appearance. He's got a 1.74 ERA.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. It's the first out. Two-run homer by Ruggiano, giving the Cubs a 5-2 advantage. All 5 of their runs here in the last 2 innings. Curveball missed. Final from Atlanta. Braves over the Marlins 3-1. Evan Gattis broke the tie in the 8th with a 2-run double. Aaron Harang's ERA went up from 0.70 to 0.85. Got a no decision. Struck out 11 in his 6 innings. What a start.
He had that invisible working, I'm sure.
Alt went around. That's strike 3.
Number 5.
Nothing in 1. Broke his bat as he lofted into left, and it's caught by Cody Ross. Katy Perry, happy birthday, Wrigley, as we head off to the 7th. Cubs Authentics auction page every Sunday night for your chance to own one-of-a-kind game-used Cub items. This week's auction features the 1914 Chi-Feds throwback uniforms worn for today's Wrigley Field 100th birthday game. Go to Cubs.com/authentics to bid on these jerseys and other game-used items from today's game. Tony Campana leading off for the Diamondbacks/Packers here in the 7th, trailing 5-2, and they've dropped 10 of their last 11. As Jeff Samardzija tries to get his first win in 2014.
It was interesting watching Jeff in the 6th after his club put those 3 runs on the board in the bottom of the 5th. He came out and found an extra gear. He was throwing 96, 97 miles an hour last inning. As if to say, okay, you guys finally got me some runs. I'm going to go to the whip here. But ironically, the Diamondbacks managed to push a run across against him. He made a couple mistakes with his fastball, but chance to lock one down here. He's working in the 7th inning for the 5th consecutive start.
It's the LED board out in right, put together by our own Mark Stencil. They weren't stenciled, although I guess figuratively they were. 1-2 on the former Cub.
Oh, here's the random factoid of the day.
We haven't had enough of them yet?
No, here's a good one.
Okay.
Jeff Samardzija is only the 2nd pitcher in the last 100 years, fitting, to work at least 7 innings and allow fewer than 3 earned runs in each of his first 4 starts of the season, and yet come away with no wins.
Holtz gets Campana. Trying to snap that particular streak here today.
Probably wondering who's the other guy. It would be Gordon Rhodes with Boston in 1933.
One of my thoughts.
Oh, he'd be one of your guesses.
Yeah. Cliff Pennington will hit for Ziegler. Stretch will be conducted from downstairs today. Two balls and a strike on the switch hitting Cliff Pennington. Laced foul. Stretch brought to you by Budweiser, Fergie, Billy, Dick Butkus, Dutchie, Carey. And sing the stretch. Samardzija's 2-2. He freezes him on a fastball at 95 miles an hour. He froze him with some heat.
Against left-handed hitters, he likes to throw that 2-seamer off the plate in and then run it back to the inside corner. Well executed. It's his 5th strikeout on the afternoon.
Hara 1 out of 3.
Hara's 4th at bat today, so Marja gives him a little different look. First pitch splitter. Good day to pitch. Wind blowing in, cool.
Trevor Cahill, 2 starting pitchers demoted to the bullpen with this rough start. Saw the other one, Randall Delgado, last night in relief. Swinging bunt picked up by the catcher Castillo. Lots of time to end the inning. And it is now time for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Budweiser.
Today's guest conductors for Take Me Out to the Ball Game from field level: Fergie Jenkins, Billy Williams, Dick Butkus, and Dutchie Carey.
Birthday, also his 100th. Okay, guys, are you ready? A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jam. I don't care if I so let's root for the Cardinals. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. All right.
One and one the count on Darwin Barney. Trevor Cahill now working for Arizona. 5-2 Cubs. Ground ball to third. Left by Prado. Goldschmidt, 1 out.
Cahill, as Len mentioned, in the rotation earlier, but really struggled. He was 0-4 with a 9.17 ERA in 4 starts before moving to the pen. You see the overall numbers, 0-4 with a 7.48, 8-10 last year with a 3.99 ERA.
Samardzija gave the Cubs the lead on a sacrifice fly in the 5th.
Taking this at bat, so it looks like he'll go back out there for the 8th. There is action in the Cubs bullpen, so they'll probably just go batter by batter with Samardzija.
Rondon and Russell. Called strike 3. Swing and a miss by Bonifacio. One and two. $32,323 in attendance today. Drop down for Bonifacio, the birthday boy. And he's got a double.
That's his stroke right there. He hits the ball all over the field, but as a left-handed hitter, a running fastball moving away plays right into his strength.
Win today would be the Cubs' first series clinching victory of the young season. Their first 3-game winning streak. It would drop the Diamondbacks to 5-19. It's 1-2. Ground ball, backhanded play, Chris Owings, throw to first, he's out. And they threw to the plate, even though the inning was over. I guess that's the 4th out play, right? The replay.
I would like to give him that much credit, but I think they forgot how many outs there were. It's such is life for the Diamondbacks these days.
Cubs will start the 8th with 1 out. Gets the grounds crew is wearing today over at Weekman Park. Name of this great ball field back in 1914. That song, St. Louis Blues. I think a lot of hockey fans in Chicago will be downloading that song anytime soon, although they may be singing the blues
there you
in
go.
a week. How about that?
There's the angle.
Samardzija continues on here in the 8th.
I don't believe the Cubs have had a pitcher go 8 yet this year, have they?
You can easily look it up. I don't believe so.
Ed will know. Through 7.
7 is the longest.
Yeah. Jeff's done it 4 times. Hamill's been there at least a couple of times. Travis Wood as well. Let's go around through the rotation. The starting pitching's been outstanding.
Toronto grounds out to Barney. Producer of Cubs baseball on WGN Sports is Mark Brady. Our director, Skip Ellison. Doug Stanton, our associate producer. Our executive producer is Bob Vorwald. Our stage manager in the booth, Paula Ostroba. Eric Johnson is our studio coordinator. Great work by our entire crew putting this festive day together here on WGN. 1-1 to Goldschmidt. Diamondbacks have out-hit the Cubs 6-5. Cubs lead where it counts, 5-2. Saw Russell and Rondon up earlier, and they're up yet again. Rizzo can't get it. Goldschmidt will make the turn, and we'll have a standing 2-bagger. And let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. We're going to have a pitching change as we come back to Wrigley Field. It's Jeff Samardzija, who's looking for his first win of the season, leading by 3, and I feel like he's playing Jack Morris to Sparky Anderson right now.
Yeah, he looks like like he wanted to go out and just give him an opportunity to lobby to stay in the ball game just to check in on him.
He was shaking his head like, no, I want to stay in, Skip. Said, I'm wearing this jersey. You expect me to come out in the 8th? Pitch to Montero outside. Ball 1. Batter to batter proposition at this point. Well, Jeff knows that. Aaron Hill on deck, and Hill has already gotten him for 3 hits today.
Now, right about now, Ricky Renteria is saying to himself, I wish I would have taken him out.
See if he can get back in the count here. And Terrell disagrees.
A little 3-0 Leo there from Todd Woodring on that 3-0 fastball. Looked like it was off the plate. We'll take a look at our pitch tracks. Yeah, that should have been ball 4. Catch a break, take advantage of it. Nope.
Tying run will come up, but it'll be against the Cubs bullpen. Hector Rondon coming in, and a nice hand coming up for Samardzija. For a Cubs starter, 7 1/3 innings for Samardzija today.
The run support has been there for him today. The defensive support certainly has been there, and now the bullpen gets their opportunity to help out. And Hector Rondon comes in with those sparkling numbers.
Goldschmidt at second. Montero at first. Hill fouls out of play.
Pop that collar.
That's got that 1985 look.
Styling.
Rondon. Strike 2. 96.
Rondon's second appearance in this series. He worked a scoreless 8th inning in Game 1 in support of Travis Wood. Allowed a hit, no runs, had a punch out.
That's a rally collar. Hey, the way it's going for the Diamondbacks, I wouldn't put it past them wearing their jerseys inside out.
Yeah, whatever it takes. Yeah.
Kirk Gibson is trying to find a way to pull out a win. His team has dropped 10 of 11, and they're trailing by 3 late. One ball, 2 strikes on Hill. Here it comes to third. Dropped by Alt, and he dives to the bag. He had a chance at a double play. Pretty routine one, actually. But once that was off the table, he had to do what he could just to get an out.
That ball jumps up on him, gets him in the midsection. A nice job staying with it, realizing the situation, and beating Goldschmidt to the bag. That could have been disastrous. And about now, that heart just starts pounding.
Still first and second. Now Montero in scoring position. Goldschmidt was forced. Hill the runner at first, and a visit to the mound by the catcher, Castillo. Drive. Lots of room, though, for Bonifacio to end the inning. Rondon gets out of the 8th. Cubs will try to tack on to their 3-run lead. Beautifully today as the home team has the lead here in the late innings. Teacher and pupil. He's been a good student, hasn't he? Hector Rondon.
Yeah, boy, he really has come along nicely towards the end of last year and getting off to a great start this year. Chris Fazio talking to him maybe about pitch selection. Of Chris Bosio, yesterday was the anniversary of his no-hitter he pitched for the Mariners against the Red Sox back in 1993. And I happened to be listening to the Mariner game on the radio on my drive home last night. And Dave Valley, who caught that no-hitter, was being interviewed. And he said that after the first inning, he went up into the Boz was really hot because he walked a couple guys.
It's the shortstop, I believe, who made that play, Chris Owens.
So Boz went up into the clubhouse after the first inning, and Valley followed him up just to kind of talk. And he said Boz was up there firing chairs and just red hot. Apparently, he had been sick before the game. And when asked about that, Valley said, "Well, you know what his pregame meal was, don't you?" And Rick Riz, I think, was interviewing him. And he said, "No." And he said, "Well, Boz, before every start, would eat not one but 2 quarter pounders with cheese from Mickey D's. That was his pregame meal." That's old school there.
One and one to Ruggiano. Swing, catches interference. Something wasn't right. I thought, well, we'll see. He's been called out on a strikeout. I think he did. I mean, it might have caught one of the laces.
Yeah,
it's too late now.
Yeah, it's too late.
One ball, no strikes on Castro.
Guessing that would be a tough one to get a definitive look at. Like Pedro Strop will get a chance to earn a save in the 9th. Unless the Cubs add on here.
Castro couldn't hold up, and that's the inning. We will head off to the 9th. Cubs leading 5-2.
You and I, oh how happy we'll be when each wave comes a rolling in. We will die.
review as we get to the ninth inning. By the way, I'm not even sure catcher's interference is reviewable. As we try to kind of sort through it here in year number 1 of expanded replay review. Pedro Strop is in a save situation with a 3-run lead starting the ninth.
Bottom of the order coming up here for the Diamondbacks. And they're going to see a mid-90s fastball and a slider. Strop occasionally will quick pitch. One for one at save opportunities this year. That save came back on April 3rd, the first series of the year in Pittsburgh.
Well, he's got the stuff. Certainly looks like he's got the makeup to close at this level.
Well, control's the one issue. Yeah, you look at his career walk rate, and it's higher than you'd like for a late inning reliever.
His walk percentage for his career at 12.5. Major League average just over 8 during his time in the big leagues, and a leadoff walk. For a future broadcast, of course, we'd love to get your Cubs selfies. That's Charles Weekman, way ahead of the curve. Is that the iPhone 5 back in 1914?
It might have been the iPhone 1.
It's a beta version of it. Hashtag WGN Cubs. Now Campana. Eric Chavez now on deck. The pitcher spot. 5 straight bad ones.
Strop has struck out 32% of the batters he has faced, which is well above league average too. So you'll live with the walks a little bit when you've got a power arm, a guy who's capable of striking people out. But you'd love to see him whittle away at that walk rate a little bit. Not as big of a deal with his 3-run lead, but you run him out there trying to protect a 1-run lead, and you walk the leadoff man. That opens up all kinds of opportunities for the opposition. Spazio wants to go out and kind of slow him down, settle him down a little bit here.
One 1-0 on Campana.
Strop finished the game on Monday working a scoreless ninth. That was not a save opportunity. That was a 5-1 lead.
Pitches, all balls.
Yeah, so ideally managers like to have a guy they can turn to and say, you're my 9th inning guy. But the way things are going here right now, I'd get Russell back up. I'd want to have some backup plan.
Quiet at the moment down in the bullpen. There's a strike, 3-1. Campana may take another.
I suspect he will. Matter of fact, I'd be stunned if he didn't.
Ground ball. Bobbled by Castro. Save. It looked like Starlin was hurrying because he knew he had to rush to get 2, but in this spot, man, you got to get 1.
Got to get 1.
You got to get 1. Here comes Ricky Renteria, and they'll certainly look at it in the video room. Right off the heel of the glove.
Yeah, I think he might have peeked there to find the base runner coming to second base, too. Let's see.
Safe.
Safe, yep. They're going to challenge it.
They might as well. I mean, it's the 9th inning, so there's no downside to this, even though it will not be overturned. I guess it hurts your percentage. It's like taking the half-court shot when time's running out. But,
well, I guess if you lose it, you don't have another challenge.
Right.
It's unlikely that another play would come along that you would want to challenge.
It's the right thing to do. That's the strategic part of it. You haven't used a challenge. You're in the 9th inning. That's a big, big play. And he'll be safe. Well, that seems to be an example of what speed can do to affect a ball game. As Castro was thinking double play.
And normally, the old adage is first guy sure, second guy, fast and turning the double play. In this instance, there wasn't going to be a flip. It was one guy making the play. But the same thing applies. Just be sure you get that out of first base. So difficult to double up Campana anyway. And again, so there's the factor of Campana going down the line. I also think he was peeking a little bit, trying to find Owings to get a sense of how quick he had to go to the bag. Had he fielded that ball cleanly, he would have been fine.
By the way, this is a challenge. Yeah, he's safe. Because a challenge was not used before the 6th. If you don't have challenges after the 7th, it's more of a request.
Right. So
that is technically a challenge.
Right. And now he's out of challenges.
Right.
But he could request.
Yes.
That the umpires take a look at another close call. And given that it's the 9th inning, they probably would.
Here's Chavez. Ball 1. Boy, if the Cubs had turned 2, think about that. He had missed on 7 in a row to start the inning. He goes 3-1 on Campana. We both thought Tony would take.
I'm stunned that he swung at that.
And then he swings at it and almost hits into a tailor-made 6-3. The 1-0 pitch on the outside corner. Late swing. 1-2. That changes things now. Now the zone expands a little bit for the hitter. Hara on deck. The guy you don't want to have to see in this inning is Goldschmidt for any reason.
Defensive swing there for Chavez at 95.
Two and two.
That one not particularly close. Fans are just in a mood to give it to the home plate umpire now.
Way inside.
It's their party, and they'll heckle if they want to.
Big 3-2 coming up. And the bases are loaded. 2 walks and an error in the inning. Well, that's the other part of this, too, that kind of went unsaid, is that you got a 3-run lead. You got to get an out for a guy who's struggling to find the strike zone, too.
Yeah,
and
you got a team that's just, I mean, the Diamondbacks have shown no life. They're not hitting. They're really scuffling. Now it's 10 out of 11. The only way they're going to beat you is if you open the door up for them. And it's precisely what the Cubs have done here in the 9th with 2 walks and an error.
A.J. Pollock now pinch running. This is his series debut. And a heap of trouble here for Pedro Strop. Tying runs are on base with no outs. There will be some action. Looks like Justin Grimm going to get loose. Slicing drive out of play. Stropes 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
More of a line drive type hitter, singles and doubles. He had 10 home runs last year, 43 two-base hits for Parra. With that in mind, the Cubs outfield playing no doubles depth. Anthony Rizzo hugging the line at first. And Holt a little tighter to that third base line than he normally would be with Parra up there.
Two pitch, another foul.
It's really the first save opportunity since Jose Veras was removed from that role in St. Louis a few days back.
It's actually over a week ago.
Yeah.
It's been a while since the Cubs have had a late, quote, savable, technically, lead.
Yeah, so, and really, and you know, Ricky Renteria said he would consider any number of guys. The sense was that Strop would be the first guy to get this chance. And nice that he did have that 3-run cushion here in the 9th. Showing an inclination to use every bit of it, though.
He's made 22 pitches and has yet to record an out. He needs one badly. Prado is on deck. And then Goldschmidt.
It's the other part of the equation, too, when we talk about short relievers who issue a lot of walks. work deep counts, the pitch count gets to be an issue, and their availability from one day to the next in question more so than a guy who's more efficient.
Strop has a sign. Bases loaded, nobody out. And another 2-2 pitch. We'll do it again. Owings walked. Campana bounced the ball to short. Error by Castro. Then the pinch hitter Chavez walked. Pollock now running for him, and a long sequence between Strop and Gerardo Parra.
Parra just fought off a really good pitch.
Effectiveness is one thing, but his pitch count continues to build as well. Going to 10 pitch at bat. Russell has joined Grimm in the bullpen. Still 2-2. Here it is. Swing and a miss. Notice he kind of slowed down that leg kick a little bit, maybe upset the timing of Parra. That's a huge strikeout.
Yeah, a little slower delivery, and took a little something off that slider, too. Good battle, ultimately won by Strop. Just a little softer with that breaking ball. Catches him out in front.
Martin Prado. 1 for 12 in the series. Dangerous hitter. Always hit for average. He's got to have something happen here in this at bat. He can't walk him with Goldschmidt on deck.
Tries to put that outside corner.
Could have been. Bounced up the middle, hits the bag, and they're going to get 2 runs. And the tying run is going to be 90 feet away. A team that couldn't get a break, a team that wasn't making its own breaks, finally gets one. The Diamondbacks, as that ball hits second base. I don't know if Castro or Barney would have fielded this ball. Let's see.
Yeah, I think somebody gets to it.
I think Barney at least stops that ball, even if they don't get an out.
A break for the Diamondbacks for sure, but a break that was available because of the 2 walks and the error. Now he's got to pull a rabbit out of his hat here.
Now, 1-run game now. Fastest guy in the ballpark's at third. Check that. It's Pollock at third. Campana. I was thinking about. strike on Goldschmidt. Fouled away. Owens and Campana scoring on that play. Ended up being a 2-run single for Prado.
Jeff Samardzij's first win of the year hangs in the balance. No easy solution here for the Cubs. Can't walk Goldschmidt, put the go-ahead run in scoring position.
Strop over 30 pitches in the inning. 0-2. Oh, what a strikeout. He gets Goldschmidt for out number 2, but he will not get an opportunity to face Miguel Montero, who thought Strop was throwing at him a couple of nights ago.
What's a birthday party without a little drama?
So here comes James Russell as the Cubs are hanging on by their fingernails. Jose Vera struggled. Pedro Strop today threw a ton of pitches. 31 in fact. He was able to strike out Goldschmidt with runners at the corners. The Cubs still lead by a run. Words of encouragement from the manager to the right-hander. So it's lefty against lefty here with 2 outs.
Nothing for 4 against Russell. 227 this year against left-handed pitching for Montero.
Pollock at third, Prado at first. Here we go. Swing and a miss.
Russell likes to start the left-handed hitters off with his slider, but I think guys around the league have become wise to that, so he's starting to mix it up a little bit. First pitch fastball there to Montero to get the jump.
Let's go Federals, a chant from the grandstand. 1-1. 2 career saves for Russell. They both came 2 years ago. This could potentially, JD, be a 3-closer save because if Russell walks Montero, I think Grimm's going to get Hill.
Absolutely.
Russell's not thinking that. He's trying to get him out. Borderline strike, 2-2. Montero not happy.
Good cut fastball off the edge, but he gets the benefit of the doubt.
Here's a 2-2 pitch, fouled off. Full count, 3-2. Rizzo will play off the bag behind Prado. Cubs bench. The 3-2 pitch. Line, and it's going to drop down, and we're tied. Miguel Montero against the lefty. And they have scored 3 times to tie it up here in the 9th.
That little guy's face pretty much tells the story. What does Jeff Samardzija have to do to get a win?
Well, wait 5 more days.
Yeah, keep pitching like this, it'll come. But Montero hanging in there against the lefty and delivering the RBI single to tie this ball game. And now Grimm will trot out of the bullpen.
Try to keep it tied. 5-5 in the 9th. Montero Beats Russell to make it 5-5, and now it's Grimm to face Aaron Hill.
Grimm 1-0 with an 0.84 ERA. Worked a scoreless 8th inning yesterday. No hits, no walks. Had a strikeout through 18 pitches.
Hill pops it up, but it'll make the seats over behind the tarp. Has quieted down considerably. Ruggiano, long run over, and he can't get it, and the Diamondbacks have the lead, and he's hurt. It's like Ruggiano pulled a hammy. As Hill ends up at third, it's now 7-5. That's a triple, and Ed Hardig, the manager, heading out. He immediately grabs his hamstring. Well, a tough inning in right for Ruggiano.
The line drive drops in front of him. Now this pop fly slicing away from him. He's got a long way to go. It looked like he was going to be able to get there. He makes a little bit of a late adjustment, and he was there, just couldn't corral it, and then down he goes. Just at the last, in that hamstring, or maybe it's not the hammy.
A 5-run ninth for the Diamondbacks, and looks like a pretty bad one for Justin Ruggiano. Let's see. 4th hit of the day, by the way, for Hill. He's a home run shy now of his 3rd career cycle, and now Ryan Kalish will replace the injured Ruggiano.
Man, what a disastrous inning on many fronts.
Well, I don't know if Addison Reed had any idea he'd be getting up in the 9th inning with his team down 3, but they're up 2 now. And Ross will be the 9th batter of the inning. Here's a pitch. It's called strike. Started with a lack of command from Strop. Key error by Castro. Kalish will make the play in right. Cubs lost an outfielder in Ruggiano, and we'll go to the bottom of the ninth. It's a 2-run game now for the visitors. Chicago Cubs baseball brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Ford, manufacturers of America's best-selling brand. Check out our best-selling lineup at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Strike on Mike Alt. A 5-run ninth by the Diamondbacks. Addison Reed is the pitcher. Former White Sox, working from the first base side of the pitching rubber.
Trying to 4 and save chances this year for Reed. Had 40 of them last year for the White Sox, 29 the year before. Fastball, slider. His primary weapons.
Ground ball surrounded by Owings for the out. One away. Wellington Castillo now. Luis Valbuena on deck for Barney. Cubs had it all set up. 3-run lead going into the ninth.
Yeah, up to that point, it really been a well-played game. Samardzija was outstanding, timely hitting, tremendous defense. Things just went awry there in the ninth. Got a little sloppy. Diamondbacks tore up the script.
I remember that note you had about Samardzija, 4 starts.
Yeah.
Make it 5. Jose Barris if we get to extras. Call strike 3, 2 outs.
Wellington usually doesn't have a lot to say to the home plate umpire. This time he gets rung up on a little cut fastball that was on the outside part of the plate. It was a good call. Frustration bubbling over.
Bring up Luis Valbuena, pinch hitting for Darwin Barney. Kick the 0-1. Now 0-2. Cubs down to their final strike. To right, and it's caught by Parra. Great start to the day, but what a disappointing finish. Cubs could not hold a 3-run lead in the ninth. The Diamondbacks get 5 and stun the Cubs today, 7-5 the final. You can't really pinpoint one thing. I mean, the tone was set with all the pitches Strop had to throw.